What's up, my hunting brothers and sisters? Today we are taking a look at some product lines from Redline Archery. In particular, their stabilizers, their Guru Rest, and their Torch 2-pin sight. Pretty awesome products overall, especially for the price point. So stay tuned. So if you follow along my channel, you know I do a lot of gear reviews, and I really, admittedly, am a gear junkie when it comes to hunting. Except when it comes to my bow. For whatever reason, it's really hard to pry me off of certain brands or pieces of equipment that go on my bow. Last year I made a transition over to Athens Archery as far as bows. I love it. For me, that was a huge transition. I've been running the same components on bows for several years. In particular, slider sights by HHA, Vapor Trail rests, Stokerized stabilizers. And I have no affiliations with those brands whatsoever. It's just what I kind of liked, and I don't like to mess with them. However, it's time to make some changes. So this is my Athens Vista 33, and it's set up still from turkey season. And I need to make some changes and try some stuff out anyway. And the guys at Redline actually reached out to me, and they sent me some products here. They sent me their Torch sight. It's a 2-pin sight, and they sent me a couple of their stabilizers, one for a back bar with a little offset, and also their Guru arrow rest. So, you know, figure this would be a good time. It's August. I'm probably not going to deer hunt with this bow, but I want to get these on a bow and shoot it some, and then maybe they will make it onto my deer hunting bow. I've really been intrigued by what I've seen on the Redline YouTube channels and other people who have reviewed them, so their products. So yeah, so that's kind of the intent of this video, is we're going to check out these from Redline. Full disclosure, Redline sent me these. I didn't pay for them. They're not going to see any of what I produce until you all do. I have no formal commitment with them, but it is cool to get new bow hunting and archery toys. So we're going to get the bow set up, and then I'm going to spend several days messing around with them. I've done a little bit on particular watching on this Redline, and there's a lot that goes into the setup of that. It's not super complicated, but I want to make sure I do it right to give it a fair shake as I determine how I like it. So yeah, it's time to start tearing the old bow apart, and we'll put some new components on it here probably tonight and shoot for a few days. Go. A few hours later, working on it, took some phone calls in the middle, but we got her all put together. So we'll start shooting it here. We're in the daylight, and we'll get her all tuned out, and we'll let you know my thoughts. So far, I'm pretty impressed with the way everything went together. All right, so it's been a couple days since I set up the new equipment that Redline sent me on this Athens Vista 33 bow. Anyway, so I've definitely got some opinions and some thoughts on it all. I've spent some time tuning and everything, and overall very impressed with the equipment from a price point. Let's start with the very basics, and let's talk about the stabilizers. So these are their RL stabilizers. It's actually their trio kit. The 10-inch with 3 ounces on the front. You got a 6-inch with 3 ounces on the back, and their adjustment bracket here. What do I think of them? They're excellent stabilizers. I'm no expert when it comes to stabilizers. I've used several. I've used everything from cheap ones to very expensive ones. They seem to do the job well. They're very stiff. They're a carbon fiber.
You got the weights, which you can customize. I just left all 3 on. Maybe as I play with this some more, I might take one off or adjust one somewhere else, but that's really is a long-term custom feel. What I was really impressed with is their bracket down here for the back bar. Compared to some of the others that I've used in the past, this one's very positive, engaging in its positions. Basically, you loosen it up and you pull it out and you can index it to the next position. Much more engaging. I've had a couples where you just loosen it and you twist it, and then when you tighten it down, it may or may not lock down. You end up getting out the Loctite and all that, you know, and everything. So that is cool. It also does have the quick disconnect, so you can take that back bar off very quickly with no tools, you know, for putting it into your case or storage or whatever you want to do. So that's nice. I've not had that in an offset bar before. I know that others make them, but just happen to be the brands that I've used don't have that. So I really liked it. So what are my thoughts on stabilizers? I think I'm going to run these stabilizers on this bow this year. Turns out I think I'm going to actually start hunting with this bow this year and then switch later on. To be continued there. So anyways, so I think I'm going to run these stabilizers. Okay, now let's jump over to the Guru Rest. Here's where I kind of struggled a little bit in the Guru Rest, and this is not a knock on Redline. This is basically based on the AAE Rest that they make. I can't remember the actual product name of it. So it's essentially the same rest, and I'm not going to say that it's a bad rest at all. It's not my cup of tea, and I'll explain a couple reasons. I personally like limb-driven rests. That's just what I've grown accustomed to. You know, I've shot many of the cable-driven rests that are out there over the years. I like my limb-driven rests. That's what I like. Couple things about this rest. It does have an anti-bounce back feature, which is really cool. It can't bounce back, but for it to not bounce back, it has to dip to horizontal or slightly below according to the instructions. I found horizontal gets it there, so that it engages the anti-bounce back feature on that. And okay, what's the big deal there? Well, I typically, when you tune a bow for your elevation, when the rest is in the up position, the center of the arrow needs to be in line with the burger holes. That's kind of the industry standard. That's where everybody goes for. That's not to say it can't be a little higher or a little lower or whatever, but that's kind of the standard. For me to get it so that the anti-bounce back will engage, I have to go so that the top of the burger holes are essentially at the bottom of the arrow. And so what that gives me, at least in this bow configuration here, is my nock travel is not truly level, even though I'm set up 90 degrees, because now my nock point is set up high. I checked it with some other bows on the Athens. I even got with the Athens technical staff on this, and their burger holes are set. There is no AMO standard, I guess, for the height, but they're set right in there with the line of industry. I did check my daughter's bow, which is made by another manufacturer, and a couple others, and it falls right there in that ballpark. So maybe that's just the standard and the way it is. I did find I reached out to Redline. They were a little unsure, and I'm not knocking them. They said, hey, we'll get with more of our tech guys. And I went to the AAE YouTube channel and saw one of their slow motion videos, and theirs was mounted just like this, up high. Maybe that's just the way it is. So it's a fine drop away at the price point on it. It's I believe $169 is their price point on this. So I think for the price point, it's a good rest. It doesn't have any micro adjust. That helps keep the price down and everything. Still, 170 bucks is a lot of money to spend on a rest. No micro adjust. So when it comes to fine tuning it, you're kind of hit or miss. So I'm definitely going to go back to my limb-driven rest. Just for me, that's what I like. I'm not knocking this rest. I think if you're a person on a budget, it's pretty good. One thing I did struggle with is this launcher does not come up when you draw back the bow. You have to actually set it, and you can let it down by simply pushing the button over here on the right side. But if you draw the bow like that, it won't come up. Well, I'm used to a rest coming up. I know it's a me problem. And so I put a couple in the dirt because of it, not thinking. But that's something for a guy like me If you're a guy who's used to it coming up, or gal, used to coming up on the draw, then you're gonna have to get used to setting that in the upright position when you start. Is what it is. Is that bad? Is that good? I don't know. It's just the way it is. So, you know, I think for the price point, you know, it's definitely is a pretty decent rest. It's just not really my cup of tea. I didn't mention the price point on the stabilizers. The Trio kit, I believe, is like $149 or $159, so it's in that $150 to $160 ballpark. So really, that's a heck of a deal, I think, when you start talking price. So let's talk about the big dog in the room, and that is, this is their torch, the Redline torch, the 2-pin sight. I wasn't sure how I'd like it, and I've used movable sights in the past. Quite frankly, I've been shooting HHA for the last several years. Once I started playing with it, I was pretty impressed. I wasn't sure how I was going to like the 2-pin. I do like it a lot. There's a ton of adjustability in here. Obviously, you've got your, you know, your up and down with the scroll wheel here. And Redline, to their credit, I watch a lot of their tech videos that they have on their YouTube channel, and they do a very good job in their tech videos. So go to that when you go to setup and look at the options, because there's a ton of adjustability in this sight. You got gang adjustment windage, where you actually, I couldn't figure this out for the longest time. Or no, the micro adjust I couldn't. You got gang adjust right here where you loosen up, but micro adjust I couldn't figure out for the longest time. I'd loosen this knob and not adjust it. You got to go 2 full revolutions out, and then you can micro adjust, which kind of sounds silly, but then I'm like, well, that's actually a good safety feature. If that would come loose, it has to come loose a full two turns for, you know, something to go wrong. So I thought that was pretty cool. They got a lot of laser etched markings in here for reference. You get 40 sight tapes. So you get a metal sight tape on the back here, and you get 20 of them, but they're printed on both sides. So you get 40 of them. And then you get 40 of the decals that you can put on the roller wheel. I've not put one on that yet because, again, I'm going to swap over to a different rest, and I actually want to sit here and micro-tune this sight a little bit more and make sure I'm at the right sight tape before I stick one on that wheel. But I do like these metal ones. They're on and off easy to swap them out. You can adjust them up and down, get them in different positions. The thing really seems to be pretty much infinitely adjustable. Again, when I first looked at it, I wasn't really sure, but the more I played with it, the more I watched their tech videos, it's like, this thing's pretty cool. So, you know, I was able to get this thing shooting really well. You know, and I'm just sitting here at 20 yards right now, but earlier today, I was actually stacking them just out here, you know, shooting at 40 yards and, you know, having a blast with them. Oh yeah, this Redline sight, it is $279, I believe, is the price point on that. So you're talking about $300. It's a lot of money, but then you look at some of the others. One just launched this week from another competitor was $600. So, you know, I think, you know, given the price of everything in the world right now, I think that's, you know, that's where we're at, really. Dead bullseye. So, and you can see, you know, I mean, some of it obviously is the bow. Man, these Athens bows are sweet. But using the stabilizers, you can see how well the bow balances in hand and how well it tames it at the shot. And you really don't hear much of anything going on here. So, yeah, again, I think the Redline products are a great product at their price point. I'm going to definitely hunt on this bow starting out this fall with these Redline stabilizers. I'm 99% sure I'm going to start out this year with this Redline sight. I'm going to give it a shot. I really like the idea of having that second pin and being able to adjust it and maybe have, you know, my top pin set in that, you know, wherever I want to run it, up and down obviously, but maybe you set it at, say, 25, and then that covers you from 20 to 30 basically, or even in, and then maybe set that bottom pin at, say, 40, and then, you know, as you scroll down, if you were going out west or something like that, and you scroll down for a longer shot, you can see where that lower pin is at, you know, on the sight tape. So I really think that that's a slick setup. Oh, it does have a built-in light, which is pretty slick, and it's very bright, and it's adjustable levels as well. So that is a pretty cool feature. It's a little button out here on the end, and it is USB rechargeable. So that is nice. No more little watch batteries or anything. I forgot to mention that. So yeah, you know, as always, my reviews are unscripted. So, you know, you kind of get what you get, and sometimes I bounce around. But so yeah, that's my overall thoughts on the Redline stuff. I want to thank the guys at Redline for sending me the products, letting me use them. Like I said, I'm definitely going to use the stabilizers in sight. Again, the rest just isn't my cup of tea, but that's cool. It might be yours. I'm not saying it's a bad rest at all. So there you have it. Yeah, I'll put links in the description to the products that they sent me. And yeah, I can't wait for fall to get here. You know, deer seasons are quickly approaching. What is it? It's late August here. So yeah, it'll be here before you know it. Got some more work to get done, but hey, it's always God bless. And it's a new day in the outdoors.